Hello and welcome to the I've Seen Everything Reaction Wrap-Up podcast. Here is where I share my thoughts, reactions, and review for my latest reaction videos. To find these full reaction videos, please search for @SeenEverything over on YouTube, or check the description of this podcast for more information. Also, please remember to rate and comment on this episode, and follow the podcast so you can see when I'm putting out new wrap-ups. And now, on to my latest wrap-up for Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. Well, now as we sit here at the end, what do we think? I really enjoyed the whole thing, you know? As of recording this, already seen some comments from the first one that's gone up, and there are some people who love these. I mean, obviously they say that, no, it's not like the Harry Potter movies, and no, it's not. I guess it just depends on how things hit you, what connects with you. I'm not going to say that I like these more than the Harry Potter movies, because I don't think that that's true. I think that they're different. But there is something that is present in these that appeals to me that was not as present in the Harry Potter movies. And the only thing I can think of that it would be is that in the Harry Potter movies, you're dealing with something that, again, it's more this coming of age of these specific characters. I mean, not completely, not everything is centered around them, but there is so much of the story that is centered around specifically Harry, but also Harry, Ron, and Hermione. From the time that they're young kids to the time that they're entering or have entered their young adulthood. This was something, again, completely outside of that. Again, it makes me think of the Star Wars stuff they've done as of late with the kind of television universe and, you know, Mandalorian and Andor and all these other kind of things. Exploring different parts of the universe. Some of them are connected to the parts that you're familiar with, some are not. This is essentially not connected to the universe that we know, with very specific exceptions. The biggest one being Albus Dumbledore. Outside of that, you don't really have a lot of strong character connections. We see McGonagall in there every so often, but she doesn't really play a significant role. And everyone else, you have these kind of little connections here and there, but it's kind of its own unique story within the universe, its own unique cast of characters, and almost a completely disconnected story for the most part. And a story of a very different type. We're not following children as they're coming of age in the wizarding world. We are following adults who have all of their own motivations and all of their own parts that they play in this story as it unfolds, centered around another villain trying to take over and destroy the world, even though that's not how they see it. Again, another kind of magical, wizarding fascist coming to power, wanting to start an all-out war against non-magical people, wanting to prevent what he considers the pollution of the bloodline of magical people. So you would imagine in places where magical and non-magical people have been able to marry and have been able to have children and all of this, he would probably gone and destroyed all of those children. It's amazing how quickly he showed his hand. I guess that's because they had it where they knew it was immediately going to be revealed that they had cheated, basically. But to have your first act, supposedly as the new leader of the wizarding world, to be war with the Muggles and try to kill one right there. And there were people cheering for him. I mean, that's the problem. These ideas, whether it's Grindelwald or Voldemort or whoever it is, they have their supporters. I mean, we saw by the end of the Harry Potter movies, Voldemort, it was basically the rise of magical Nazis. They had basically taken over. They were printing propaganda about Muggles and mudbloods. They had infiltrated almost every corner of the magical world, or they were trying to, and they were infiltrating the non-magical world. It really would have been interesting to see, and maybe this is a place they intended to go, if there was ever a direct connection between Grindelwald and Voldemort, considering they had such a similar vision, considering they devoted themselves to the same horrible purpose. It seems too close for there not to be some connection there, where maybe Voldemort was a disciple of Grindelwald's at some point or something. Because that's the problem. We left it in a place where I believe, if I understood correctly, Grindelwald is still out there, and at least in these movies we don't see his end. I don't know if they put that out there somewhere else to kind of wrap up that story. Again, you get the feeling that maybe they intended to do other movies, so maybe they would have wrapped that up in another story. If they knew this was going to be their last movie, you would have thought maybe they would have shot a different ending where he died or something. Maybe they didn't know this was the last movie. I mean, it wrapped up well in every other respect. Everybody else is, safe and happy. Jacob and Queenie are getting married, as I'd hoped. They made it through and they're okay. Queenie got back out of the dark side of all of this, which was surprising that she ended up over there to begin with, but Queenie ended up being a deeper character than I gave her credit for, and it makes sense. We didn't spend as much time with her as I would have liked if we were going to go that way with her, but I mean, in these movies, there's a lot to pay attention to. There's a lot of places you have to divert your focus to actually follow the overarching story that's happening. You don't have a lot of time for subplots. I mean, Tina has been crucial to this franchise for the first 2 movies, and we didn't see her hardly at all during this. We saw a picture of her in Newt's suitcase. We saw her watching during the whole selection of the leader thing, and we saw her at the end. I mean, she had about as much screen time in this movie as Johnny Depp's Grindelwald did in the first movie. Maybe a tiny bit more, but that's it. That is the last entry into the Wizarding World, or at least the last film entry as it currently stands. And presumably likely the last entry that there will be. But I am glad that I got to watch it. I have enjoyed these 3 movies. Again, definitely a very different flavor of this universe, but one that I certainly appreciated and one that I was glad to experience. And I am very grateful to have had you here to experience it with me. Thank you so much for watching all 3 of these with me. Be sure to go back and watch the Harry Potter ones if you haven't watched those. I'd love to enjoy those with you too. And I will see you on the next video. Take care. Thanks so much for listening to the I've Seen Everything reaction wrap-up. Again, to find these full reaction videos, please search for @SeenEverything over on YouTube or check the description of this podcast for more information. Also, please remember to rate and comment on this episode and follow the podcast so you can see when I'm putting out new wrap-ups. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll meet you here for the next episode.